Welcome to my channel TonySay99. In this video you will learn how to pronounce the word mouth correctly, how to write down its phoneme correctly, and if there are differences between British and American accent. In addition, you will learn how many definitions and meanings this word has and see example sentences for each of them. At the end of the video we will look at all kinds of idioms in which the word mouth is used, learn the meaning of each of them, and see how it looks like in real sentences. Well, here we go. There are no differences in the pronunciation and phoneme according to the word mouth between the American and British accent. It's read and pronounced exactly the same. Mouth. Everything is very simple here, so let's move on. Before we start familiarizing ourselves with the definition of this word, it's worth saying that it can be a noun or a verb in a sentence. We'll start with the variants where mouth is a noun. So the first meaning is the opening or which a person or animal takes in food. This is the simplest and most traditional meaning of the word. An example in a sentence look like this: the baby closed his mouth and would not eat. Next definition: a person or animal who depends on someone for food or shelter. An example in a real-life sentence: another mouth to feed. Next definition: the opening in the face or of as the source of speaking. An example: secrets came tumbling out of his mouth. Next definition: talk, especially loud, empty or boastful talk, or disrespectful talk or language. An example in a real-life sentence: I won't take any more mouth from you. Next definition: an opening leading out of or into a hole or a hollow fin. An example: the mouth of a jar. Next definition: the lower end of a river or stream where flowing water is discharged. An example in a real-life sentence: it's the mouth of the river. Now let's move on to the variants where mouth will be a verb. First definition: to say something without believing or understanding. And an example in a real-life sentence: mouthed the usual empty promises for reform. Next definition: to form a word, etc. silently in one's mouth. An example: he mouthed a few words at me, but I couldn't figure them out. Next definition: mouth off. And example: he's always mouthing off at our meetings. And finally, for a full understanding of the use of the word mouth in speech, you need to familiarize yourself with idioms where this word occurs. Idiom: born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Saying: having rich parents. Example: Samantha was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. There's always someone to pay her bills if her inheritance isn't enough. Next idiom: butter would not melt in somebody's mouth. Informal: used to say that someone seems to be innocent, kind, etc. when they are not really. Example in sentence: Tommy looked as if butter would not melt in his mouth. Idiom: by word of mouth. meaning because people tell each other and not because they read about it. Example, the news spread by word of mouth. Idiom, down in the mouth, meaning unhappy and depressed. Example, despite the party environment, Ria seemed down in the mouth as she was about to leave the organization. Next idiom, foam at the mouth, meaning informal of a person, to be very angry. Example, the dog was foaming at the mouth. Next idiom, have a big mouth, meaning if you have a big mouth, it means that you are loud, like to gossip and cannot keep secrets. Example idiom, Jimmy has a big mouth. Yesterday I told him that I am leaving the company and today everybody knows about it. Idiom, somebody's heart is in their mouth, meaning if someone's heart is in their mouth, they are feeling extremely nervous. Example, my heart was in my mouth when I opened the letter. Idiom, leave a bad nasty taste in the mouth, meaning to cause an unpleasant memory. Example, the way the waitress treated us left a bad taste in my mouth and I never went back. Idiom, live from hand to mouth, meaning usually with negatives, informal, to refuse or criticize something that is given to you nothing. Example, I'm never one to look a gift horse in the mouth. Idiom, melt in your mouth, meaning of food, to be soft and very good to eat. Example idiom, they serve sticks that just melt in your mouth. Next idiom, put your foot in your mouth, meaning to say or do something that upsets, offends or embraces someone. Example idiom, I really put my foot in my mouth with Ella. I didn't know she and Tom broke up. Next idiom, put your money where your mouth is, informal, meaning you want them to spend money to improve a bad situation instead or just talking about improving it. Example idiom, the government might be obligated to put its money where its mouth is to prove its commitment. Next idiom, put words into somebody's mouth, to suggest that someone meant one thing when really they meant another. Example, stop putting words in my mouth. I didn't say you looked fat in the red dress. I merely said you looked very slim in the black. Next idiom, run off at the mouth, informal, meaning to speak without discretion, to speak too loudly or freely, especially about sensitive topics or information. Example idiom, we would have gotten away with our plan if your dumb cousin hadn't started running off at the mouth all over town. Idiom, shoot your mouth off about something, informal, meaning to talk too much in a loud and uncontrolled way. Shoot your mouth off about something. Example idiom, it's just like Richard to go shutting his mouth off and about other people's business. Thank you for watching. If you liked it and it was interesting for you, subscribe to the channel. Video will be released every day, so click on the bell so you don't miss out. See you tomorrow.